Hey, welcome to another video regarding my reflections as a teaching assistant for the Leadership in Groups and Communities course this fall 2018. So where do I start? So at this point, I think it's always good to start with a positive sandwich. So that's how all the videos will start. So I'll talk about something positive, something not so positive, and then something positive again that's happened throughout my role as a teaching assistant. So one of the positive aspects that I've seen as a TA so far is that we're opening up the students' minds to the different ways that their identity plays a part in the service that they go out to do. So as you may remember, the class is heavily focused on service learning. So the class actually they break off in groups and then they go out into the community and they do service. So some of the agencies that they're doing service at this semester is Elder Day Stay. Some are at the Audubon, the Appalachian Audubon. Some students are at CCYS, Capital City Youth Services, and then other agencies as well around Tallahassee. So through that, each group brings a diverse perspective to service, and we really want to capitalize on that while they're in class. So the other week, we had the students do a social identity web. So this was something we hadn't done yet before, which really dug into their privileges, their identities, the ones that they hold salient, and then maybe some of the identities that they don't think about as much. So through that activity, I realized that the students had a very foundational knowledge of what identity was. So one of the things, I wrote down some notes. So a lot of students had questions about cisgenderism, and there were a few jokes played into it because they were like, I've never heard this word before. And then some people took the activity serious, some people didn't, but it got me thinking about how they show up and how everyone shows up when they do different service work. So in the next couple of weeks, I hope to capitalize on that by maybe revisiting it with an activity that says, now that we know our salient and maybe not so salient identities, how has that played a part in your service learning role? One of the things that I'm really grateful for is Marianne's leadership. So Marianne Lawrenson is the teacher, the head professor, and through the class, she's taught me a lot about facilitation, about just going with the flow of things, which has been really interesting. I've come to find that a lot of times Marianne doesn't always have a set plan in her head. Like there's always an activity, but she plans the activities with the thought in the back of her mind that the class can go either way. So her lesson plans are very flexible, which I admire, and it allows me the opportunity to learn how to be flexible with her. So one of the things that I've been able to practice is how do I sort of hop into a conversation that I wasn't necessarily ready to engage in? Because a lot of times I'm not included in the lesson plannings because we are both so busy. So it's a lot of times just read the material and be ready to hop in, which has actually been very beneficial for us. One of the readings we had them do was Us versus Them. So essentially, this is where the identity role came in, and it talked about the problematic effects of sometimes bringing your identities into the space that you complete service in. So the students actually really enjoyed that activity or that reading. But one of the things we continue to struggle with is engagement. So we're not sure if it's the 2 o'clock after lunch hour that gets the students, or if, it's the activities that aren't reaching the students as we'd like them to. But that's one of the things that we struggle with. So even though we can tell that they're learning, sometimes the engagement is just not there. So one of the things that I love about Marianne is that she always provides feedback. So I facilitated a couple classes within the past week. And one of the things that she said was she enjoys that I help get the groups thinking about intergroup dialogue. One of the things that I hope to capitalize on, and she shared is one of my not so strong points, is being ready to differentiate. So planning to differentiate. A lot of times I'll do an activity and I'll give everyone a slip of paper, but I won't necessarily know what's on the slip of paper. So what that does is it confuses me. And then sometimes when the students have questions about the activities, I'm not necessarily sure what role or what story they have to go off of in their groups. So I think that a little bit more planning, and she said that like color coding would help in that instance, would allow me to better facilitate some activities, if that makes sense. Other than that, in the next couple of weeks, I'm looking forward to facilitating more classes. I'm looking forward to having some type of dialogue about how service is going. I'm also looking forward to seeing more group cohesion. Right now, it sort of seems like it's the awkward stage of we're in this group, we don't really know each other, but we're going to just make it work. So I'm hoping to be able to see the groups sort of collaborate and become a team and develop that group identity that we talk about so much within the class readings. But yeah, so other than that, I look forward to talking to you more about my TA experience in the next couple weeks. Bye.